Before there were coins and money, people would exchange goods or services for animals, food, and time. Mesopotamian shekel, the first currency, didn't appear until 5,000 years ago. Since then, many different things have been connected to money. While some believe that money is a force for evil and makes trading more difficult, others believe the opposite. Even though not everyone will concur on this or the best ways to make, save, and spend money, many wise people have over time shared their viewpoints. But before we get deeper, if you are new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. So, without further ado, let's get started. It's a good idea to pay attention to what the fourth wealthiest person in the world has to say when they discuss money. Everyone knows that the US has a lot of debt, and according to the Federal Reserve New York District, US household debt is currently 15.6 trillion US dollars. Warren Buffett's simple but effective advice is, you'll never get around to saving money if you don't make it a priority. It also won't be there when you need it. But, on the other hand, you will never be sorry if you start and stick to a saving strategy. On the other hand, the total amount of household debt in Japan is currently $2.86 trillion. According to this information, when the population is taken into account, Japan's household debt is roughly half that of the United States. So, what exactly is happening? We must first take into account Japan's history as a predominantly agrarian culture to fully understand the differences between Japanese and Western perspectives on money, spending practices, and personal finance. Any community whose economy is based on producing and maintaining crops and farmland is considered an agrarian society, also known as an agricultural society. Agrarian societies have existed and are still present in many parts of the world, as far as back as 10,000 years ago. Japan back then had a caste system. This system was straightforward during wartime, but interesting changes appeared during peacetime. One of the lowest castes in the caste system, the merchant class, experienced a boom in trade during times of peace. Their actions aided Japan's economic expansion. As a result, they made a lot of money. Successful businessmen in Japan go unnoticed, while fame and wealth are rewarded in the United States. This lack of appreciation led to the stigmatization of wealth and money, and Japan is still plagued by this stigma. As a result, countries like the United States and the United Kingdom have adopted a new perspective on money as a result of this potent Japanese philosophy. Many Japanese people prioritize influence and power over money because of the social stigma associated with wealth and the collectivist emphasis on blending in with the community. Wealthy people in Japan tend not to flaunt their wealth. In Japan, it's common to live next door to a multi-millionaire and not know it because their home resembles yours. Simply put, extravagant spending is discouraged in Japanese culture. In contrast to people in the West, Japanese people are not pressured by society to flaunt their wealth. Americans frequently live beyond their means to present a particular self-image to the outside world. As a result, a lot of people find themselves unable to save money and living paycheck to paycheck, which leads to significant debt. Japanese spending habits are very dissimilar from those of Americans. The wealthy class in Japan is not renowned for their extravagant lifestyles. As a result, their wealth may increase and they may be able to support themselves using the interest on their assets and cash. The wealthy class in Japan favors a simple lifestyle because it helps their finances. Rich Japanese people prefer to shop domestically rather than abroad for things like vacations, fine art, and wine, despite their lack of interest in extravagant lifestyles. Keeping money in Japan and using benefits the economy. When examining Japanese personal finance and spending practices, additional differences become apparent. One notable distinction is that personal finance education begins early for Japanese children. Their parents teach them the importance of saving money and the benefits of delaying gratification when making purchases. Japanese parents instill in their kids the value of saving money and the repercussions of not doing so. They also caution their kids against borrowing money from others, including banks. As a result, young Japanese people start saving money at a young age. The fact that most transactions are completed with cash rather than credit is another distinguishing feature of Japan. Predicts Statista, 40.4% of all consumer purchases in Japan will be made with cash in 2022. US cash spending is 34% in contrast. Cash payments have psychological benefits. You see, when you make a purchase using a credit card, you don't immediately notice how it affects your accounts. With cash, however, you can see and feel the value of the item you're purchasing. You must carefully consider your purchases as a result of this phenomenon. As a result, you start to feel less inclined to spend money, which aids in your ability to do so. Why Japanese people are more adept at managing their finances is explained by this psychological phenomenon. This is not meant to suggest that Japan is superior to the United States or that Americans lack intelligence. In the end, it comes down to cultural and historical factors. Neither strategy is particularly wrong or right, and each has advantages. One thing is obvious in this day and age, given the rising cost of living in the United States and the constant threat of debt. Now might be a good time to take a cue from Japanese culture. We all have room to increase our savings. The Japanese are renowned for their kakebo, an antiquated but practical manual method of money management. Kakebo focuses on more than just cost cutting. It also encourages better self-awareness and life simplification. A three-principle accounting system is called kakebo, Kakeh-Shsei, or keeping track of your income and spending, Kakeh-Shsei, or organizing your monthly expenses into key categories, Kakeh-Shsei, or setting a suitable budget for each category. Kakeh-Shsei. Why track your money manually? You are more likely to process the data you record by hand, even though using an automatic budgeting tool may be more convenient. According to a study that was published in Psychological Science, longhand note-takers in class performed better than laptop note-takers at answering complex conceptual questions about a subject. You can also aid in achieving your goals by manually writing them down, particularly any financial goals. If you take a few minutes each month to consider and write down what you want to save, you can. For instance, create an easily accessible record of your goals. Writing something down can aid in memory retention. For instance, as you jot down your objective to save $100, you analyze it and start thinking about how you might achieve it. This might inspire you to take necessary action to accomplish your goal. How can you include kakebo in your life? Kakebo is based on a straightforward idea. Kakebo aids in bringing careful awareness to the budgeting process, similar to how keeping a food journal helps you become aware of your eating habits. Kakebo, a word from the Japanese language that means journaling or documenting, is used with a pen and paper. To begin kakebo, you must first understand your financial situation. This requires meticulously tracking your expenses over a predetermined time frame. The idea is to make the practice ingrained in your daily routine, much like journaling. Most financial gurus suggest tracking your spending and income for at least a month before creating a budget. The kakebo practice involves tracking your expenses and earnings. The 4-category spending habit system. A simple ledger called a kakebo is regarded by many as being quite brilliant. You can categorize your spending after keeping track of it for a month. Kakebo allows you to keep track of everything you buy and organize your finances by categorizing purchases into 4 categories. Number 1. Necessities. Essentials such as food, toilet paper, and toiletries. Number 2. Wants. Items you want but don't need, such as a takeaway lunch or a new pair of shoes. Number 3. Culture, such as books, museum visits, and vacations. Number 4. Unexpected. Unexpected expenses, such as a doctor's visit or auto repair. The 4 category strategy can assist you in becoming more conscious of your spending habits and in avoiding wasting money on things that don't advance your goals. What are the benefits of using Kakeh-Shsei? It differs from other budgeting techniques by emphasizing mindfulness, which makes it a great choice for people who want to make sure their money is spent on things that make them happy. As an illustration, it promotes setting attainable monthly savings goals, saving little and often rather than big and infrequently, and acknowledging small wins. It's important to keep in mind, though, that you can still purchase non-essential items. Kakeh-Shsei focuses on developing awareness so that you don't spend money on things that will only give you momentary pleasure. No matter what you want, to become financially independent, save more money, or become a billionaire, you need to develop good financial practices. Everyone aspires to have sound financial standing. However, to succeed, you must put systems in place that outline the steps that will result in advantageous results. Who is Kakeh-Shsei best for? Number 1. Family with kids who need to learn about how household costs are calculated. Number 2. Budgeters who are hesitant and afraid. The technique gives people more power and confidence by putting them in control of their spending. And Kakeh-Shsei is a master at dispelling the idea that someone is terrible with money. Number 3. Envelope budgeters. The envelope budgeting method, which entails planning out monthly expenses and dividing predetermined sums into actual or fictitious envelopes, is comparable to Kakeh-Shsei's categories. If you find that planning using an envelope works for you, you'll probably like Kakeh-Shsei. Number 4. First-time savers. The Start Anywhere approach motivates you to save more by acknowledging even the smallest financial accomplishments. Number 5. Inconsistent budgeters. The simplicity and adaptability of Kakeh-Shsei may be the solution if you ever had trouble sticking to a spending plan. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell button to get updated on our latest videos. Don't forget to like this video and drop a comment. See you next time!